My child, come closer now. Tonight is not ordinary, and neither is this moment. The noise of the day has faded, and heaven has been waiting for this quiet space where your soul can finally breathe. I am drawing you into stillness, not to empty you, but to fill you with peace that the world could never manufacture. Rest your thoughts. Let your heart soften. I am here. There is a reason your spirit felt restless before this night arrived. There is a reason sleep felt distant, and memories rose without invitation. I allowed the silence because silence is where my voice carries weight. In the hush of this hour, I speak gently, yet with authority that calms storms you have not even named aloud. Do not be afraid of the quiet. It is holy ground. Tonight, I have sent protection ahead of my words. You are not alone in this moment. The air around you is guarded, and the weight you have been carrying is being measured, understood, and lifted piece by piece. I see the way your heart has learned to brace itself, how hope sometimes feels fragile in your hands. But hear me clearly now. Peace is not leaving you. Peace is coming to stay. My child, there are nights when heaven intervenes not with thunder, but with assurance. This is one of those nights. I am wrapping you in calm that surpasses understanding. Even the parts of you that learn to expect disappointment are being gently untrained. I am teaching your spirit how to rest again without fear of what tomorrow might bring. If your heart feels comforted already, pause with me for a moment. Let others find this same peace. If you feel led, softly support this message by staying connected, sharing it, and walking this path with those who gather here. And if you desire peace to take root deeply, type the word peace below as a quiet agreement between your heart and mine. This is not a ritual. It is alignment. Listen now. I am not rushing you. I am not demanding strength from you. I am inviting you to lay down the invisible armor you have worn for too long. The striving, the overthinking, the silent self-protection. Tonight, I guard you. Tonight, you rest. There are scriptures of peace already moving toward you, living words that do not accuse but heal. Words that steady the mind and remind the soul that it is held. These words are not distant promises. They are present truths, activated now, settling into your breath, your chest, your thoughts. You may not see it yet, but something heavy is loosening its grip. The tightness around your future, the anxiety tied to someone you love, the unanswered questions that echo late at night. I am not ignoring them. I am preparing you to face them from a place of peace rather than fear. Stay with me here. Do not rush ahead. This stillness is the doorway. Tonight begins with calm because calm is the foundation for everything I am about to reveal. You are safe. You are seen. And peace is already unfolding within you, even now. My child, remain still as heaven draws nearer. The night watch has begun, and I have released my warrior to stand at the edge of your rest. Archangel Michael moves quietly now, not with clashing armor, but with authority that steadies the unseen. His presence does not disturb your peace. It secures it. He stands between you and what once tried to reach you in the dark. There are battles you never saw because they were never meant for your eyes. There were moments when danger paused, when confusion was interrupted, when harm lost its direction. This was not chance. This was guardianship. Michael has been assigned to this hour because your soul is entering a season that must be protected with precision. Do not imagine this descent as dramatic or frightening. It is gentle, deliberate, exact, like a watchman stepping into position as the city sleeps. The atmosphere shifts not with noise, but with clarity. Fear finds no place to stand. Anxiety loses its footing. Even memories that once carried sharp edges begin to soften under this divine covering. My child, I know there has been concern in your heart, not always for yourself, but for the one connected to you by destiny. You have sensed tension around them, a pressure you could not explain. Tonight, Michael stands not only for you, but for what is bound to you. Nothing assigned to destroy that connection will pass unnoticed. There has been interference, quiet interference, thoughts planted that were not yours, emotions amplified to cause distance, misunderstandings encouraged to grow roots. But hear me now. The night watch exposes what hides in shadow. Michael does not attack blindly. He observes, discerns, and neutralizes with divine permission. You may feel a strange calm settling in your body right now. This is not tiredness. This is safety. Your nervous system is learning that it does not have to stay alert for threat anymore. The tension you normalized was never meant to be permanent. Protection allows rest to return. I see the way you have tried to stay strong for others. How you carried responsibility quietly, believing that if you stayed vigilant, nothing would fall apart. But my child, vigilance without rest becomes burden. Tonight, I relieve you of that role. Heaven is on watch. You are allowed to sleep within your spirit, even while you listen. Michael's presence also brings truth closer. Not yet loud, not yet revealed in full, but approaching. What has been hidden cannot remain hidden much longer. This is not to alarm you. It is to prepare you. Truth will arrive wrapped in peace, not shock, because I refuse to let revelation harm you. If your heart begins to feel emotional without clear reason, do not resist it. That is release. Years of quiet endurance loosening under divine safety. Let it happen. Nothing about you is being taken. Only what weighed you down is being lifted. My child, the night is not empty. It is active with protection. It is alive with alignment. As Michael stands guard, I draw closer still. My words are nearing you. Scriptures not written on pages alone, but inscribed upon your inner being. They are coming gently, in order, at the pace your soul can receive. Remain here with me. The watch is set. The peace is secured. My child, now that the watch is set and the night is guarded, I place the first scripture gently upon your heart. It is not given to challenge you. It is given to quiet what has been trembling inside. These words are alive, and as they arrive, they begin to rearrange what fear has disordered. Peace is not something you must chase. Peace is something I release. Tonight, it flows toward you like a steady river, not rushing, not retreating, simply present. I speak to the places in you that learn to expect interruption, disappointment, or sudden loss. I speak to the tension that learned to live behind your ribs. Be still. You are not in danger. You are not about to lose what I have promised. My child, hear this truth settle gently within you. I am not the author of confusion. When your thoughts spiral and your heart feels divided, that is not my voice pushing you. My voice brings clarity that feels calm, even when the message is serious. And tonight, the message is peace. Deep, unshakable peace. There have been moments when your mind replayed conversations, imagined outcomes, and prepared for pain before it arrived. That habit was born from survival, not from destiny. You learned to anticipate harm so it would not surprise you. But I am teaching you a new way now, a way that trusts my covering more than your anticipation. Let these words breathe inside you. I am with you. I will not leave you. I will not abandon what concerns you. These are not poetic comforts. They are promises enforced by heaven. When I speak peace, I also command everything that opposes it to step back. You may feel warmth in your chest or a soft release behind your eyes. This is not imagination. This is your spirit responding to truth. Fear cannot coexist with my presence when you allow my words to remain. Anxiety may knock, but it no longer has authority to enter unchallenged. My child, there is something specific that has been stealing your peace. A situation connected to the one you love. Uncertainty, silence, distance, or an unspoken worry that something is wrong beneath the surface. I am not ignoring this, but before I address it fully, I must anchor you in peace so that revelation does not overwhelm you. Peace is your foundation. Without it, even good news can feel heavy. With it, even difficult truths can be carried without breaking you. Tonight, as this scripture settles, your breathing changes, your shoulders lower, your thoughts sow. This is how you were meant to live. Not constantly braced, not always preparing for loss, but aware, protected, and held. I see how you have tried to keep faith while carrying unanswered questions. That quiet strength is not gone unnoticed, but strength without rest becomes strain. So I give you rest wrapped in truth. Rest that does not ignore reality, but steadies you within it. My child, you do not need to solve everything tonight. You do not need to confront anything yet. This moment is for receiving. Let my peace guard your heart and your mind. Let it stand watch alongside Michael. Let it silence the inner noise that kept you alert when you were meant to be at ease. Stay here a little longer. The next truth is approaching, and it will arrive on the foundation of peace I have just laid within you. My child, now that peace has settled, I must show you what has been circling quietly beyond your awareness. There has been a shadow near the one bound to you by destiny. Not a shadow meant to frighten you, but one meant to be understood. What hides loses power when it is seen through the light of truth. You sensed it before your mind could name it. A subtle heaviness, a change in tone. Moments where their energy felt distant even when words sounded normal. This was not imagination. It was discernment awakening. Something external has been pressing against their spirit, attempting to influence their thoughts and emotions when they were most vulnerable. This shadow did not arrive suddenly. It crept in during moments of exhaustion, disappointment, and self-doubt. It fed on confusion and whispered lies about worth, timing, and inevitability. It suggested separation where there was meant to be alignment. It magnified fear where trust was meant to grow. Hear me clearly, my child. This was not your fault. You did not miss a sign or fail to act in time. Some battles unfold quietly before they ever reveal themselves. But nothing unfolds beyond my sight. I allowed you to feel the disturbance not to burden you, but to prepare you. The unseen threat was not only against them. It was against the connection itself. Against the future you are meant to walk into together. When destiny draws near, resistance intensifies. When alignment approaches, interference grows desperate. That is why the night watch was set. That is why peace was established first. This shadow thrives in secrecy and silence. It works best when emotions are suppressed and questions go unasked. It encourages withdrawal instead of honesty. It urges them to carry everything alone, convincing them that reaching out would expose weakness. And so they began to retreat inward, believing isolation was protection. I see the weight this placed on you, the wondering, the quiet worry you carrying without proof, the way you prayed without knowing what words to use. You felt something was wrong but did not want to accuse or assume. The restraint tamed for love, not fear. And it mattered. My child, I am not revealing this to alarm you. I am revealing it because the shadow is already weakening. Exposure is the beginning of its end. The moment truth enters awareness, deception loses its grip. There is also someone else connected to this shadow. Not a stranger, but someone close enough to influence thoughts and emotions. Their intentions were not pure. Jealousy mixed with insecurity gave them access they should not have had. They spoke subtly, not with obvious harm, but with questions designed to plant doubt. They smiled while sowing confusion. But hear me now. Their influence has been observed. Their words have been weighed, and they do not carry authority over what I have ordained. The one you love has been fighting internally, torn between what they feel and what they fear, between reaching for you and retreating into self-protection. The shadow exploited this tension, but it did not create it. It merely fed on unresolved wounds. Tonight, that changes. The light now surrounding you is also touching them. They may not yet understand what is happening, but they feel it. Restlessness, unease, a stirring that refuses to let them remain comfortable in confusion. This is not distress. This is awakening beginning. My child, do not rush to act yet. Do not confront what is still unraveling. Trust the process unfolding in the unseen. What was hidden is being drawn into clarity step by step, without harm, without chaos. The shadow is losing ground. The threat is being neutralized. And what comes next will require the strength that peace has already given you. Remain steady. Remain open. I am guiding every movement of this unfolding with precision and care. My child, now I turn your attention inward, not to you, but to the one whose heart has been quietly breaking under the weight they never showed. Beneath their composure, beneath the words they chose carefully, there has been a collapse you could not fully see. They carried it alone, believing that revealing it would make them a burden or a disappointment. Their strength became their prison. They told themselves they had to figure everything out before speaking, had to heal before reaching out, had to be certain before choosing you. And in that waiting, the pressure grew. Fear whispered that they might fail you. Guilt whispered that they had already delayed too long. Confusion wrapped itself around every good intention. I saw the nights when their thoughts raced and sleep fell shallow. I saw the moments when they held back messages, rewrote words, or chose silence because they did not trust their own stability. Your heart wanted you, but their mind feared causing harm. So they withdrew, thinking distance would protect you both. My child, this was not indifference. It was overwhelm. Inside them, questions echoed loudly. What if I am not ready? What if I disappoint them? What if I lose them by speaking too soon or by staying quiet too long? These questions did not come from lack of love. They came from a deep awareness of what you mean to them and a terror of mishandling something sacred. There were moments they nearly broke. Moments when emotions surged so strongly they had to step away just to breathe. Tears that fell when no one was watching. A heaviness in their chest that made even simple decisions feel exhausting. They did not understand why something so beautiful could feel so frightening at the same time. This inner collapse made them vulnerable. Vulnerable to the shadow. Vulnerable to outside voices. Vulnerable to believing they were alone in their struggle. And when someone close offered distorted comfort, when subtle doubt was framed as concern, they listened longer than they should have. Yet even in this collapse, my child, their heart never severed itself from you. It wavered, yes. It questioned. It hesitated. But it did not let go. There was a constant pull back toward you, a sense that you were the place of safety even while they were afraid to approach. They blamed themselves harshly. They replayed their own missteps. They judged their slowness, their fear, their silence. Shame layered itself over confusion, making it even harder to speak. They believed you deserved clarity while feeling incapable of offering it yet. I want you to understand this, not to excuse pain, but to bring compassion where misunderstanding once lived. Their collapse was internal, not relational. It was about worth, timing, and fear of loss, not lack of feeling. Tonight, as heaven moves, they are beginning to feel the weight of that silence. Not as condemnation, but as realization. The thought of losing you feels heavier now than the fear of being vulnerable. The balance inside them is shifting. They are starting to see that isolation did not protect them. That silence did not bring peace. That avoiding the risk of honesty only prolonged the pain. This awareness is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Awakening often begins with discomfort. My child, you did not cause this collapse, and you cannot fix it for them. But your presence, even at a distance, hath been a stabilizing force. Your prayers, spoken and unspoken, have surrounded them more than you know. They felt warmth they could not explain, calm that arrived unexpectedly, strength returning slowly. Do not underestimate the role you play simply by being who you are. Your steadiness has been an anchor even when they drifted. And now, as their inner structure begins to rebuild, that anchor is calling them home. Stay gentle with your own heart. Do not rush the repair. What collapsed is being rebuilt with truth, this time, not fear. I am not finished. The deeper truth is still unfolding. My child, now I lift the veil further, not to expose wounds, but to heal them. What you could not see before was the hidden story beneath their struggle, the layers formed long before this connection awakened. Their reactions were shaped by history, not by you. Their fear was rehearsed in earlier seasons when trust was costly and vulnerability was punished. They learned, slowly and painfully, to guard their heart as if it were fragile glass. Past disappointments taught them that love could disappear without warning, that promises could weaken under pressure, that opening up invited loss. They did not choose these lessons. They absorbed them. And when you entered their life carrying sincerity and depth, those old instincts activated. There were memories they never shared. Moments when they had given themselves fully and been met with abandonment, manipulation, or blame. Those experiences carved caution into their spirit. So when something real began to form with you, something pure and unforced, it stirred both hope and terror at once. Hope because it felt right. Terror because they feared repeating old pain. My child, this is why they hesitated. This is why they questioned timing. This is why they tried to analyze feelings instead of simply receiving them. Their heart recognized you as safe, but their mind was still governed by old alarms. The shadow exploited this divide, whispering that caution was wisdom and delay was protection. There were also pressures you never saw. Expectations placed upon them by family, by circumstance, by voices that defined success and stability in rigid ways. They felt torn between honoring those demands and honoring the quiet truth rising in their chest. Choosing you felt like choosing the unknown, and the unknown frightened them more than unhappiness ever had. Yet even while wrestling with these hidden layers, they carried something sacred, an awareness that you were different, that your presence did not drain them but steadied them, that conversations with you lingered longer than they admitted, that silence from you felt heavier than silence with anyone else. This awareness never left, even when they tried to bury it under logic. My child, heaven had been witnessing this entire process. every internal debate, every suppressed emotion, every prayer they could not articulate but felt deeply. I did not abandon them in their confusion, nor did I overlook the pain caused by their hesitation. I have been working within the complexity, untangling fear from truth, memory from reality. The hidden backstory is not an excuse, it is context, and context allows compassion without minimizing your own experience. You are not required to carry their past, but understanding it frees you from self-blame. What slowed them was not your worth, but their unresolved history. Now, this history is being confronted, not forcefully but honestly. Old patterns are losing authority. The realization is forming that protecting themselves by avoiding vulnerability only repeated the very losses they feared. This truth is sobering, but it is also liberating. They are beginning to see you not as a risk, but as a refuge, not as pressure, but as peace. This shift does not happen instantly, but it has begun. And once it begins, it cannot be reversed. My child, you are not late. You were waiting for alignment, and alignment requires revelation. What was hidden has now been brought into light. The story is clear, and the next movement will be guided by truth, not fear. Remain patient a little longer. Justice, clarity, and correction are already in motion. My child, now the atmosphere shifts. What was hidden is summoned forward, and what whispered in secret is brought into the open light. This is the moment of divine investigation, where nothing is assumed and nothing is overlooked. I sit as judge, not to condemn, but to correct. Justice does not arrive loudly. It arrives precisely. The one who interfered believed subtlety would protect them. They spoke in half-truths. They disguised jealousy as concern. They framed doubt as wisdom. And because they stood close enough to influence, their words found entrance. But closeness does not equal authority, and influence does not override destiny. I have weighed every word they spoke. I have traced every motive beneath their tone. What they intended to delay, I now accelerate. What they meant to confuse, I now clarify. They did not understand that when they touched what I was guarding, they summoned my attention. My child, jealousy is a quiet enemy. It rarely announces itself. It smiles. It listens. It studies. And then it inserts itself where it does not belong. This interference was fueled by comparison and fear of being replaced. They saw the connection forming and felt their relevance slitting. Instead of healing that wound, they chose manipulation. But hear me now. No one can manipulate what I have sealed. In this divine courtroom, intention matters. And their intentions were divided. They did not seek your peace. They sought control. They did not protect the one you love. They protected their own position. His distinction changes everything. The one bound to you is beginning to recognize this. Conversations replay in their mind with new clarity. Statements that once felt helpful now feel heavy. Advice that once felt safe now feels intrusive. This is not paranoia. This is discernment awakening. I am removing the fog without causing panic. I am allowing realization to rise naturally, so it roots deeply and lasts. When truth arrives gently, it cannot be easily dismissed. When it arrives without accusation, it cannot be resisted. My child, you will not need to expose this enemy yourself. You will not need to defend your position or prove your heart. I do not require you to fight battles I have already entered. Silence on your part has not been weakness. It hath been trust. And trust invites my intervention. The interference is losing access. Influence is being revoked. Conversations are shifting. Distance is forming where unhealthy closeness once existed. This is not loss. This is protection reasserting itself. And hear this clearly. There will be no retaliation against you. No hidden backlash. And a lingering effect. What was meant to destabilize will instead stabilize. What was meant to delay will instead refine. The enemies attempt to insert themselves into destiny as only expose their position, and exposure ends their reach. My child, justice does not always look like confrontation. Sometimes it looks like clarity. Sometimes it looks like separation. Sometimes it looks like the quiet collapse of influence that once felt strong. The court has ruled. The interference is concluded. And what comes next will unfold without obstruction. Lift your heart. The night is turning, and the light now has full access to what was once contested. My child, feel the turning now. The night that once felt heavy begins to loosen its grip, and movement stirs in the unseen. This is the hour when intervention becomes active, when heaven does more than observe. Angels move with assignment, not haste, restoring order where tension once lived. You may sense a subtle lift, as if the air itself has changed. This is not coincidence. This is correction. What was misaligned is being adjusted. What was delayed is being released. Michael does not stand alone now. Others move with him, carrying peace into places where fear once lingered too long. The one you love is experiencing this shift even if they cannot name it. Their thoughts are quieter. The pressure that once pressed against their chest is easing. They feel a pull toward honesty, toward clarity, toward you. It may arrive as restlessness or sudden reflection. It may come as a desire to speak after long silence. This is intervention working gently, not forcing but guiding. My child, angelic help never violates free will. It strengthens truth until truth becomes the obvious choice. It removes distortion so the heart can see clearly again. That is what is happening now. The fog is thinning. The internal noise is lowering. And courage is rising where fear once dominated. There are moments when intervention looks dramatic. This is not one of those moments. This is precision work. Quiet alignment. The kind that lasts. Heaven is reinforcing what belongs and dissolving what does not, without shock, without harm. You are also being touched by this shift. Your patience is no longer draining you. Your waiting is no longer heavy. Something inside you feels steadier, more anchored. This is not resignation. This is trust deepening. You are learning that you do not have to push destiny forward. You only have to remain open as it arrives. My child, the universe responds when heaven gives command. Doors that resisted now loosen. Timelines adjust. Conversations that felt impossible find their moment. And hearts that were guarded begin to soften without explanation. Do not be surprised if communication changes soon. Not forced, not dramatic, but sincere. Temper, truer. Intervention clears the way for authenticity. It does not script outcomes. It prepares hearts to choose rightly. Rest in this turning. You do not need to watch closely. Heaven is already moving, and night is yielding, and hope is preparing to rise with the next breath of truth. My child, now hope begins to rise, not as an idea but as living truth. The scriptures I bring to you in this hour do not merely comfort. They activate. They awaken what has been dormant and remind your soul of what it has always known. That the night does not win. That waiting is not wasted. That love guarded by heaven cannot be undone. These words settle into you like morning light spreading across a darkened field. slowly, steadily, without force. Hope does not rush because it knows it is coming. It does not shout because it carries authority. It simply appears, and darkness adjusts. You may feel your thoughts drifting toward the future again, but this time without fear. Where imagination once produced anxiety, it now produces possibility. This is the work of hope. It does not erase reality. It reframes it. It reminds you that what is unfolding has direction and purpose. My child, hear this truth clearly. I am restoring what was strained without recreating what was broken. I do not rebuild using old patterns. I establish new foundations, ones rooted in honesty, courage, and mutual clarity. The connection ahead will not be a repetition of confusion. It will be a correction of it. These scriptures speak over timing, over patience, over the fear that you waited too long or hoped too deeply. You did neither. You remained when leaving would have been easier. You trusted when clarity was delayed, and that endurance has weight in the unseen. Hope also brings remembrance. You begin to recall who you were before uncertainty taught you to doubt yourself, before waiting made you question your worth. That version of you is returning now, not naive, not unguarded, but whole, grounded, at peace. The one you love is also being touched by this rising hope. They feel it as a warmth they cannot explain, a confidence that was missing before. The fear of reaching out is shrinking, replaced by the fear of staying silent. Hope rearranges priorities. It makes truth feel urgent and avoidance feel heavy. My child, do not interpret hope as a promise of ease. Interpret it as assurance of alignment. There may still be conversations. There may still be vulnerability. But they will come with a sense of rightness, not dread. As these scriptures of hope take root, you are being prepared to receive what once felt too uncertain to trust. Your heart is learning how to open without bracing for impact. That is healing. Remain receptive. Do not pull back now. Hope is not fragile here. It is supported by heaven. The dawn is closer than you think, and it carries truth with it. My child, now comes the stirring within them, the moment when awareness breaks through resistance. And one you love can no longer ignore what has been rising in their heart. What once felt distant now feels urgent. What once felt confusing now feels painfully clear. Awakening often arrives quietly, but its effects are unmistakable. They are realizing what silence has cost. They are recognizing the weight of missed moments, unspoken truths, and delayed courage. This realization does not come with pride. It comes with humility, with regret that does not destroy but teaches, with fear not of rejection but of loss. The thought of you moving forward without them unsettles their spirit, not because of control but because of clarity. They see now that you were not an option. You were the Venetian, the anchor, the place where peace lived even when they could not access it themselves. This awakening brings vulnerability they once resisted. Questions surface they can no longer suppress. What if I waited too long? What if they no longer trust me? What if I have already lost what mattered most? These questions are heavy, but they are also holy. They signal readiness. My child, they are beginning to understand that strength does not mean withholding emotion, that protection does not mean distance, that love requires presence, even when afraid. This understanding does not erase the past, but it reframes it. They no longer see silence as safety. They see it as separation. You may feel this shift without words being exchanged yet. A sense of closeness returning. A soft pull. A warmth that reaches you unexpectedly. This is not imagination. This is resonance. Awakening creates alignment before it creates action. They are afraid of losing you because they now see your value clearly, not as something abstract, but as something irreplaceable. They recognize the steadiness you brought, the patience you offered, the space you held without demand, and the possibility of that disappearing unsettles them deeply. But hear me, my child. This fear is not meant to paralyze them. It is meant to propel them toward honesty, toward courage, toward joys. Fear that leads to truth is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Do not mistake their awakening for immediate perfection. Growth still unfolds step by step, but direction has changed. And once direction changes, destiny follows. Remain steady. Do not shrink back. Your presence still matters. The realization within them is real, and it is drawing them closer to the truth they can no longer deny. My child, now you must understand the sacred role you have played, even when you felt unseen. Your presence has not been passive. Your prayers have not been quiet echoes lost in the dark. They have been the instruments of alignment, shaping outcomes you could not control by action alone. There were moments when you questioned whether staying gentle was a mistake, whether remaining open made you vulnerable to disappointment. But I tell you now, your consistency created a spiritual environment where truth could survive. While others pressured, manipulated, or withdrew, you remained rooted. That rootedness mattered more than you know. Your prayers traveled where your words could not. They reached into confusion and steadied it. They softened hearts without forcing them. They invited clarity without demanding speed. When heaven looks at the unfolding of this connection, your faith is written into every turning point. My child, destiny does not move only through dramatic gestures. It moves through quiet obedience, through restraint, through trust when proof is absent. You chose not to harden yourself, even when waiting hurt. That choice preserved alignment. The one you love felt this. Even in distance, they felt safe thinking of you. Even in confusion, they felt peace return when your name crossed their mind. That was not coincidence. That was spiritual connection reinforced by your faithfulness. Now, as destiny realigns, you are not being asked to chase or to convince. You are being asked to remain present and true. The correction underway does not require striving. It requires receptivity. Allow what is returning to come without suspicion. Allow what is healing to unfold without fear. There is also a strengthening happening within you. You are no longer waiting from a place of lack. You are standing from a place of worth. This shift is important. It ensures that what comes next is mutual, balanced, and honest. My child, SD honors those who honor themselves without closing their hearts. You have done this quietly, faithfully, and with grace. And because of that, what is aligning now carries stability. Do not underestimate how powerful your presence is. Not loud, not forceful, but steady. And steadiness changes outcomes. Remain open. Remain grounded. What has been corrected is now ready to move forward in truth. I am with you in this alignment, and the final blessing is near. My child, now I seal what has been restored. The night has completed its work, and peace stands where fear once lingered. This is the moment of blessing, not loud or overwhelming, but certain. What was shaken had been steadied. What was questioned has been clarified. What was delayed hath been aligned. I place peace upon your heart like a covering that will not slip. Not peace that depends on circumstances, but peace that governs them. You will notice it in the way your thoughts settle, in how your body no longer braces for disappointment, in the calm confidence that replaces anxious wondering. This is not emotional relief alone. This is spiritual assurance. My child, destiny has not been broken. It has been refined. The path ahead is clear because truth has cleared it. The connection you carry in your heart now stands on a foundation stronger than before, one built with honesty, awareness, and mutual courage. What returns to you does not come with confusion attached. It comes with intention. You are entering a season where peace walks with you instead of chasing behind you, where you no longer have to interpret silence as danger, or waiting as rejection. You will recognize alignment by how calm it feels, not by how intense it is. That is how you will know this is from me. I bless your nights with rest that is deep and uninterrupted. I bless your days with clarity that is gentle and sure. I bless your heart with the ability to remain open without fear of being undone. You will not lose yourself in love. You will recognize yourself more fully through it. The one connected to you will feel this shift as well. Not as pressure, but as invitation. Not as fear, but as courage rising. What comes next will unfold naturally, without force. And when words are spoken, they will be rooted in truth rather than defense. My child, if these words have brought peace into your spirit, let them continue to travel. Remain connected to this place of calm, and allow others who are searching for rest to find it as well. And if you wish to seal this moment, type the word Amen below as a quiet agreement, not for me, but for your own heart. This is not obligation. It is acknowledgement. I am proud of the way you waited without bitterness, of how you trusted without surrendering your worth, of how you allowed me to work without forcing outcomes. That posture has prepared you for what comes next. Lift your eyes gently. The new beginning has already started, and you do not walk into it alone. I go before you. I remain beside you, and peace will follow you from this night forward.